나와 됐다니 여만 나한테 받아 그리고 뭐만지 늘 당신이 기어가잖아. 근데 지도 어디 공부도 얘는 어디보다 기어갔다. 별탄 받았으면 군수기 계절만 해봐. 별탄 받게 이해해야 돼. 인구 시 나왔다 다 사는 것만 해봐. 난 그냥 요를 다른 상황에 가장시에 갑니다. 그래서 맞지를 이기는
So then how are we obscured? We are obscured due to our grasping in the mind. So we are grasping at the outer appearances. We perceive them in a certain way. For example, we label them, this is a monk and this is how he's wearing his Dhamma robe, and this person is doing virtue, this person is doing non-virtue, and so on. We hold our perceptions as valid and truly existing. And actually this perception, this belief, this obscures us, prevents us from seeing how things actually are in reality. And so I mentioned the other day during the debate, all beings actually possess Buddha nature. So here we are speaking about the ultimate level. On that level there is no difference between us. It doesn't matter whether we are monks or lay people or even animals like birds and so on. Everyone has the seed of awakening. The Buddha himself had said Buddha nature pervades all beings. And that is what we are introduced to here in the fourth empowerment, that there is no difference, that we should not focus on the outer appearances but rather look at the inner true nature. And if you're able to see it, then you see your ultimate true nature. So this is what we're speaking about here. Here we're not speaking about the relative level. We're speaking about the essence of the essence. We are not speaking about our obscured view of outer perceptions, but we are looking at our inner true nature in its unaltered, uncontrived state. In general, when we try to describe this nature, we use all sorts of really fancy and profound terms. We call it the Dharmakaya, we call it Mahamudra, and we call it Dzogchen. So many fancy and elaborate words that actually it makes us even like dizzy. It's hard to even comprehend. It is mind-boggling. But actually, there's another way of seeing it too. Pagmodropa, who is Lord Jigten Sumgon's guru, he made it very easy. He said, when there is non-duality, that is Mahamudra. So everything is complete within just that line. So when we see things, when we see someone is practicing non-virtue, or we see a monk, that is dualistic grasping. When there is no dualistic grasping, within Buddha nature itself, there is no difference at all. So from that perspective, Mahamudra is non-duality. From that perspective, it is rather easy, isn't it? So this is now from the perspective of how we understand it from the ultimate level. So coming back to this quote from the Hevajra Tantra, first it says primordial wisdom. So that is placed in the very beginning. And regarding that, actually, it is Yeshe in Tibetan. There is many explanations. For example, the Karma Bamigyo Dorje explained the difference between primordial wisdom and consciousness in about almost half a volume. So first I thought of explaining what is the meaning of primordial wisdom, what is Ye and what is She.
얘네 그거와 얘네 그 홍만네 당분네 고만네 호라는 맞수 거네.
So the ye, the term ye of Yeshem, it means primordial, something that is beginningless, or something that has been there first, something that was before. So before we have entered the state of samsara.
이게 나는 되면네. 이런 이들의 이 정체는 6만 6천.
在大圆满的智慧呢，叫做本初的心。
写个多起源呢，写出的当给那朦胧空的，谈出写个多，不谈了的吧？
就比如说像譬如说，
写不题，写不那是他不也写不了，那是圣洁的，你不的，写不几个圣洁的，可能肯定是说是，你不怎么没法子。我这个怎么没法子？写出他说你那朦胧，咱们那朦胧不的，你不怎么没法子？但咱们这个路上呢，在什么过程吧？你呢？写到不能变差要不了，是吧？什么这个去的干了，这个七老的的钱嘛，都不让你可能中国的也能进去走吧？要么在那进去了，另外今年那个人可不要嘛是吧？我第四个的，一季也得。
In the Ladakhi language, for example, it is called that which was before, or gongma, or at first and before and so on. In the literal language, it says primordials, it's primordial times. So we are speaking about the natural, innate state that exists even before we have entered into samsara. It is the pure essence of the mind, just like the very core of a crystal avasha that is completely pure. So we're speaking about pure awareness. For example, Jigten Sumgon had referred to it as the undefiled awareness. That is before we have actually fallen into the swamp. Once we have fallen into the swamp, there is some defilement, but not in actuality, only on the outer level. By nature, Buddha nature actually always remains undefiled, primordially pure and spontaneously existing. So Buddha nature itself actually is never defiled. So that is the meaning of Yeshem, or primordial wisdom.
这样的一个觉知力，这个呢我们叫做慧，叫做也谢。
So then next it says this primordial wisdom is greatly subtle. If we want to see the nature of this wisdom, we cannot see it with our eyes because it is too small, too subtle. If something is too small, we simply cannot perceive it, we cannot see it. For example, nowadays when we examine various particles like water particles or atomic particles, then we can divide them further and further. So they always divide by 2, and then you think you have 1, you look, and you have again 5 or 6, and so on. There's actually no end to it. The more you look into it, it is too subtle, and ultimately you find that you just simply cannot point your finger at it. It cannot be found. It is that subtle, and that is why it cannot be explained by words. So the ultimate truth cannot be explained in any way. It cannot be shown. It can only be indicated by various illustrations. But if it could be explained with ordinary words, then actually it would already mean that it is not the ultimate, because if it can be explained, it is the relative. The ultimate can never be explained. You cannot meet the ultimate truth through the use of words. If you could, it would not be the ultimate. It transcends words and it transcends thoughts. You cannot even think about it. So it is this self-existing primordial wisdom. It has been there since the beginning, since primordial times, innately. It is something that you can... So it is something that you can only understand through your own personal experience. You can only resolve it through experiencing it yourself through practice. And so then what is now the method to realize this subtle essence? It says then here in the next word, it is a Vajra essence abiding like space. So think about it like space. Mostly people say that the Vajra here, it refers to emptiness, and Jigten Sumgon also says it is emptiness that has compassion at its core. So actually it is something that we just speak about, but we cannot really understand it in that way. The Buddha had said in the sutras, for example, when you ask a person, have you seen the sky? They will say, yes, here's the sky. But actually this is we only say we see the sky, but we cannot really see the sky. And so, for example, when you look into the sky, you cannot say where is the center of the sky, or where is the east, where is the west, and so on. You cannot find it. And so then this awareness, the next line it says, it is immaculate, it is stainless, it is free from any flaw. It is the perfection of wisdom. It is liberation granting and peace. So because it is free from limitations, it is vast and limitless. It is peaceful. It is ultimate peace, or nirvana. It is the state where all afflictions and conceptual constructs have calmed down, have been completely pacified. And then lastly, it says here, you are its own father, and that means your own stainless awareness has the same nature as this stainless awareness here, this primordial wisdom we are speaking about. So you are the same by nature. So this is what is indicated here.
能够产生这样的一个领悟。
我基本成绩，当然的第60成绩，才是全部落在了上面的
以上所说的这4句话，就是大手印不可思议的一个内容。
So the meaning of the fourth empowerment is to realize the state of Mahamudra that transcends the intellect and is inconceivable.
接下来呢是那个。
So then there is a few quotes and verses to be recited that His Holiness will recite.
收集和指引。
So Holiness will recite it again for the sake of receiving their transmission. It's also a prediction, a prophecy of actualizing the state of Mahamudra. So in this way you have received the fourth empowerment, and that is the accomplishment of the Guru's Svabhavika Kaya or Essence Kaya. It is the empowerment of Sachna that is beyond conceptual elaboration. It is the word empowerment that has purified the stains of the body, speech and mind, and as a result you will accomplish the Svabhavika Kaya or the Essence Kaya.
到此这个灌顶圆满结束了。一方面告诉我们要从此释放。
I don't have sugar.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Sorry. It's okay. have one, yeah. Lost you. You lost your.
Got it at home. Yeah, I haven't.
Think about the accommodation for the girl who's coming tomorrow.
Fully told, yeah.
Not yet paid, but when is it we think? Okay, so. Okay, alright. Thanks. Wait, you will go check it. Thanks.